In the vast silence of the desert, where the wind carries voices of the past, we walk with him alone, Apache warrior whose heart beats with both grief and unyielding fire. The desert stretches wide before us, endless and unbroken, a sea of stone and dust that seems to swallow sound itself. We walk with him, the lone figure moving through that emptiness, his steps quiet, deliberate, as if each one carries the memory of those who walked before him. He is an Apache warrior, though no band follows him now. His name is known only to himself and the spirits. To the world he is silence on two legs. To us he is all that is left of a people scattered by time and fire. His hair is long, dark as raven wings, braided loosely and dusted with the grit of travel. His face is sharp, weathered by wind, sun, and sorrow. In his eyes lives the kind of stillness that comes only from too much loss. He carries no burden but the bow slung across his back, a quiver worn thin, and a knife that glimmers faintly in the dying light of day. Yet we feel the heavier weight memory grief, and the solitude of being the last voice in a chorus now gone quiet. He moves not aimlessly but without destination, as though the land itself is his companion. He knows its language. The shift of a pebble under his moccasins, the rustle of a lizard vanishing into brush, the whisper of wind bending dry grass, these are not small things to him. They are signs. They are echoes. They are the way the earth reminds him he is not truly alone, even when no human walks beside him. We hear them, too, as we walk in his shadow, and we understand why he listens so deeply, because silence without meaning is unbearable. Once, long ago, there were many like him. Bands of Apache who hunted the deer in the high country, who sang at night around fires, who rode with pride through the red canyons. But the old ways have been torn apart, scattered by rifles and treaties written in tongues that offered nothing but betrayal. His people were driven from mountains and rivers, pushed into corners where the land could not sustain them. Some were killed. Some were captured. Some, weary of running, laid down their arms. But he did not. And now he walks alone, a reminder that resistance still breathes, even if only faintly. The desert remembers, even if the world forgets. He sees the mountains at a distance, their ridges like the spines of sleeping beasts, and recalls the songs his grandfather once sang of those peaks. He kneels to touch the dry earth, feels its heat fading with the setting sun, and recalls how his mother spoke of the land as a living relative. He is not truly cut off. He is tethered by memory. And through him we feel tethered too. Yet memory is a cruel companion. With each mile, it presses on him like a shadow that never lifts. When he stops by a creek, the water trickling weakly over smooth stones, he does not drink at first. He listens. He sees in the reflection not just his face but the faces of those he has lost: his brother who fell to a soldier's bullet, his wife who carried his child but never lived to see its birth, his people scattered like ashes. He drinks then, not out of thirst, but to wash down the ache that rises with those visions. We taste that bitterness with him, and it lingers on our tongue. The sky grows vast as evening falls, painted with streaks of fire and blood. A hawk circles above, its cry sharp and lonely, echoing his own heart. He pauses, watching, and for a moment we feel what he feels, that perhaps the hawk, too, is a warrior left without a band, circling, searching, calling into the emptiness. And like the hawk, he will not stop. His footsteps leave faint imprints in the sand, easily erased by wind. No one will know where he walked, no one will follow. But we are here, walking with him, feeling the heavy silence that wraps around him like a second skin. He does not speak aloud, yet his very presence speaks volumes. We understand him without words. His loneliness is not just his own, it belongs to us all. In the stillness of the desert twilight, as stars begin to wake in the deepening sky, We see him clearly, a solitary Apache warrior wandering not just through the land, but through grief, through memory, through the long shadow of survival. And though no one else remains to see him, to hear him, or to walk with him, we do. The sun is sinking low when the warrior climbs out of the open desert and into a canyon cut by centuries of wind and rain. Shadows stretch long, creeping across the stone like black fingers. The air here feels different, thicker, uneasy, as if the canyon itself is holding its breath. He pauses at the rim, scanning the land the way only a hunter can. His eyes narrow. Nothing moves among the rocks or brush, yet the silence is wrong. The desert is never truly quiet. There should be the cry of a hawk, the rustle of a jackrabbit, the steady buzz of cicadas. Instead, the only sound is the faint moan of the wind twisting through narrow walls. His instincts sharpen. Something has happened here. The warrior steps lightly down into the canyon, his moccasins barely disturbing the dirt. He keeps one hand on the bow at his back, the other resting near the knife at his belt. His every movement is measured, cautious. He has lived long enough to know when the land whispers warnings. The further he walks, the colder the air grows. It should not be so. The day's heat lingers everywhere else, but here, in this shaded throat of rock, the wind carries a chill that raises the hair on his arms. He feels watched, though no eyes reveal themselves. He stops at a patch of disturbed ground. Kneeling, he brushes aside loose gravel with careful fingers. Tracks. Heavy boot prints. Pressed deep, far different from Apache moccasins. Soldiers? Outlaws? He cannot yet tell. There are too many to count, crossing over one another, moving in haste. And mixed with them lighter prints, smaller, barefoot. He frowns. A girl, perhaps, dragged? A crow caws overhead, startling him from his thoughts. He looks up and sees 3 black shapes circling above the canyon. Carrion birds. They do not gather without reason. He knows what waits where they circle. Death. The wind shifts, carrying with it a faint odor smoke and something else heavier, metallic. Blood. His chest tightens. He follows the tracks deeper, moving quickly now, every sense alive. The canyon walls rise higher around him, cutting off the last light of the setting sun. He feels enclosed, like a man stepping into the throat of a beast. Ahead, tangled brush clings to a cluster of mesquite trees. The branches creak in the wind, though the air is not strong. That sound unsettles him, like bones rattling. He grips his bow tighter. Then he sees it. A shred of cloth caught on a thorn, fluttering weakly. Not the coarse weave of soldiers, nor the bright dye of settlers. It is soft buckskin, the kind worn by Apache women. His hard hardens. The ground here tells more of the story. He crouches low, fingers trailing over faint scuffs in the dirt. A struggle. Footprints dig deep, as if someone resisted, fought. One set of smaller prints stops suddenly, replaced by drag marks. His jaw tightens. He can see it all in his mind. The girl pulled forward, her heels scraping the earth, her cries swallowed by the canyon walls. The crows cry louder now. He lifts his head, eyes following their circle. The mesquite groans again, a long, hollow sound. The smell of blood is stronger. Something waits beyond those trees. The warrior rises slowly, steadying his breath. He feels the familiar rhythm of his heart, calm but strong, the way it beats before battle. His hand rests on the knife at his belt, though he does not draw it yet. To draw too early is to betray fear. He moves forward, each step measured, until the trees stand just ahead. The air is cold here, unnaturally so, and his skin prickles with the weight of unseen eyes. The last light of the sun fades, and shadows swallow the canyon whole. The crows scream overhead, black wings slicing against the reddened sky. The warrior knows, even before he reaches the trees, that he will not like what he finds. The warrior pushes through the mesquite, branches scraping his arms, thorns catching at his buckskin. The smell hits him first sharper now, copper and smoke tangled together. His stomach knots, but he forces himself forward. The clearing beyond is small, hemmed in by rock and twisted trees. At its center, a mesquite leans crooked, its branches bent low as if straining under a weight too cruel to bear. She hangs there, an Apache girl, no more than 16 summers, her body swaying gently in the cold canyon air. A rope bites deep into her neck, her arms limp at her sides. Her long black hair hangs down like a curtain, brushing her shoulders, stirring faintly when the wind sighs. Her bare feet dangle just above the ground, toes pale against the dark bark. The warrior stops cold. For a long moment he cannot move. His chest tightens, as though an invisible hand has seized his ribs. He has seen death in battle, seen friends cut down by bullets and blades, but this is different. This is a killing without honor, without reason. He forces himself closer, each step heavy as stone. His eyes search her face, soft even in death, her skin streaked with dust and blood. He wonders who she was. Someone's daughter. Someone's sister. Perhaps someone who once laughed, danced, carried water from a stream. Now she is nothing but a body swaying in the canyon. Left to the crows, he clenches his jaw and lowers his gaze, not wanting to look too long at her eyes half open, staring at nothing. That stare can burn into a man's soul if he lets it. It is then he notices the tree. The bark is scarred. Deep gouges cut into the wood with a knife. He steps closer, tracing the lines with his fingers. The word carved there is crude but deliberate. Unforgiven. The letters are jagged, uneven but carved with force, each stroke biting into the living tree like a wound. Whoever wrote it wanted the word to last. A curse. A message. The warrior's hand trembles against the letters. His mind races. Was this meant for her? For her family? For the Apache as a whole? The word seems to echo in the canyon, whispering through the branches. Unforgiven. Unforgiven. A crow lands above the body, cawing harshly. He lifts his bow, waving it away. The bird flaps off, but more circle overhead, hungry, waiting. His stomach twists with anger. She will not be meat for scavengers. He lowers his eyes to the ground again. Around the base of the tree, the dirt tells another story. The boot prints are clear now, pressed deep by men standing close, watching, perhaps laughing. The smaller tracks the girls end here, beneath the hanging branch. No struggle at this spot. She must have already been bound. He imagines it. Rough hands tying the rope. Men shoving her forward, her feet kicking until the world went dark. The thought burns his chest like fire. He steps back, looking at her one last time. Then he kneels, drawing his knife. With a steady motion, he cuts the rope. The girl's body drops gently into his arms. She is light, too light, as if life itself had been carved out of her long before the rope did its work. He lays her carefully on the ground, arranging her arms across her chest. He murmurs words in Apache, words his mother once taught him for the dead, words meant to guide spirits to the other side. His voice is low, almost lost to the wind. When the prayer is done, he rises. His face is hard now, his grief sealed behind a mask of fury. He looks again at the carved word on the tree, unforgiven. He lets the word settle into him, deep in his bones. It is not hers alone. It belongs to all who have suffered, to all who were taken. The warrior turns from the tree and crouches low, eyes scanning the ground. The trail is still fresh boot prints leading out of the canyon toward the north. His heart beats faster. Whoever did this cannot be far. He takes one last look at the girl, her body resting in the dust, the rope coiled lifeless beside her. His jaw tightens. This will not be left unanswered, he whispers. Then he rises. shoulders squared, and begins to follow the tracks. The warrior does not leave the tree right away. Even as the boot tracks call him northward, his eyes keep drifting back to the letters carved deep into the mesquite. Unforgiven. He runs his fingertips over the grooves again, feeling the ridges where the knife bit into living wood. Each line is raw, ugly, still fresh cut no more than a day ago. Whoever left this word wanted it to scar not just the tree, but the land itself. The warrior studies the carving as if it were a war sign. In his people's way, symbols hold power. Words carved in trees, painted on stones, whispered in songs, they carry meaning, weight, spirit. But this word, this English word, feels like venom. It is not prayer. It is not memory. It is judgment. He thinks of the girl lying in the dust behind him. What crime could she have committed? What debt could a child owe that demanded this punishment? He knows the answer before it forms. None. The word was never meant for her alone. It was meant for her people. For all Apache, the warrior steps back, studying the letters from a distance. The canyon wind sighs through the branches, and for a moment the word seems alive, breathing with the sound of the air. Unforgiven. His jaw tightens. The word does not wound him as the men who carved it intended. Instead, it steels him. If they wish to mark his people as unforgiven, then so be it. He will carry that mark himself and answer it in blood. He kneels beside the girl once more, his voice low, his words in Apache. They gave you no forgiveness, little sister, but I give you my vow. What they carved into this tree, I will carve into them. The canyon answers only with silence. He rises again, his hand brushing the hilt of his knife. His thoughts turn practical now. The word is not only a message, it is a clue. Soldiers would not take the time to carve such a thing. Soldiers kill and march on. This was different. This was meant to be seen. Outlaws, perhaps. Men who live by cruelty. Men who want their violence remembered. He studies the boot tracks again, crouching low. They are heavy prints, wide-soled, cut deep. Not the standard issue boots of soldiers. These are rougher, uneven. Outlaw boots, drifters, killers, the kind who leave scars across the land like wildfire. Trail is clear enough in the dust. He follows it a few paces, then stops, looking back once more at the tree. The word carved there still glows in the dim light, sharp and cruel. It is more than insult. It is a wound cut into the land, and he cannot leave it standing as it is. He draws his knife. The blade flashes in the fading sun. Slowly, deliberately, he carves his own lines over the word, striking through each letter. The cuts are not neat, but they are strong. He does not erase what was written. He transforms it, scars it further. If anyone returns, they will see the defiance in his strokes. The word no longer belongs only to those who wrote it. When he is finished, he presses his palm against the wood. The knife rests heavy at his side. His breath slows. He has marked the tree as he will mark the men. Turning back to the girl, he gathers dry brush and stones. He cannot bury her, the ground here is too hard, too rocky, but he will not leave her bare to the carrion birds. He lays stones gently across her body, one by one, until she is covered. A cairn rises slowly, rough but strong, sealing her against the scavengers. Each stone is a promise. Each stone is a memory. When the last is placed, he stands tall. The canyon has grown darker now, the sky bleeding into night. The stars begin to flicker above, cold and distant. The wind carries the smell of dust and blood away, leaving only silence. The warrior places his hand over his heart. He bows his head once. Then he turns north, following the tracks. He does not look back again. The tree with its scarred word, the cairn with its silent promise, they are behind him now. What lies ahead is the trail of the guilty dot, and in his chest the word still burns, Unforgiven. The night deepens as the warrior follows the trail north. The boot prints guide him easily, at first pressed deep in soft dust, dragging lines where men shuffled their weight. But when the canyon widens and the earth hardens, the signs begin to fade. He slows, crouching often, searching for broken brush, overturned stones, any hint of passage. His body moves by instinct, but his mind drifts. The word carved into the mesquite still lingers in him, Unforgiven. It calls forth memories he has tried to bury, memories that walk beside him now as surely as his own shadow. He sees his brother, tall and strong, cut down in a hail of bullets near the San Carlos River. He remembers the way his brother fell, clutching his chest, eyes wide with disbelief. The memory strikes fresh every time, as if the bullet had only just torn through him. He remembers his wife, her smile as she prepared food by the fire, her gentle hands braiding her hair. He remembers her screams the night raiders came, white men with rifles and torches. They dragged her away, her cries echoing into the dark. He never saw her again. No body to bury, no cairn of stones to mark her rest. Only silence, only loss, and he remembers the child she carried. His child. A life never born, a future stolen before it could take its first breath. That wound burns deepest of all. The memories come fast, sharp as knives. He clenches his fists, his breath quickening. The men who carved that word into the tree may not be the same who destroyed his family, but they are cut from the same cloth. Cruel men, men who take what they want and leave only blood behind. Men who believe Apache lives hold no value. The warrior stops, lifting his head. The night is alive now with faint sounds, the chirp of crickets, the rustle of small animals in brush. The silence of the canyon has lifted, but his heart is heavier than before. He crouches at a cluster of sage, brushing aside branches. They're a boot print, faint but clear enough. He exhales slowly. The trail is still alive. He rises and keeps moving, guided by both track and memory. Each step forward is a step deeper into his own past. For a moment, he remembers the old days before the soldiers came, before the treaties and lies. He remembers sitting at his grandfather's side, listening to stories told by firelight. His grandfather spoke of mountains that breathed, rivers that sang, and spirits that walked with the people, unseen but ever present. The old man said a warrior carries his people inside him. Even if all others fall, the spirits live on in his heart. The warrior grips the knife at his belt, feeling its worn handle. He carries more than grief. He carries memory. He carries the voices of all who came before and all who were taken too soon. Tonight, their weight presses heavy, but it does not break him. It strengthens him. He pauses at a rise in the land, looking out over the desert stretching north. The moon has climbed high, silver light spilling across the rocks. Far ahead, faint in the distance, he sees smoke curling upward a campfire. His jaw hardens. The men are close. He kneels, pressing his palm to the earth. In a low voice he whispers in Apache, "Grandfather, brother, wife, daughter, walk with me now." The desert wind stirs, cool against his face as if answering. The warrior rises. His grief no longer feels like a weight pulling him down. It feels like fire driving him forward. Every memory sharpens his purpose. The men who left the girl hanging, the men who carved their cruel word into the tree, they will not escape the reach of memory, for memory does not fade. It hunts, it waits, it strikes, and tonight it walks in the footsteps of a lone Apache warrior. The trail grows sharper as the night wears on. The boot prints press deeper now, scattered where men grew careless. Their steps tell a story to the warrior, men moving with full bellies and no fear, laughing perhaps, unaware that the desert itself has turned against them. The warrior moves like shadow, silent and patient. His breath is steady, but inside, fire churns. Every step north stokes it higher. Grief has hardened into anger, and anger into something sharper purpose. Ahead, the faint glow of fire rises against the horizon. The outlaws have made camp. Their smoke curls into the star-dusted sky, a beacon calling him forward. He crouches low, studying the ground. The tracks split, circling a cluster of rocks. They are here, no more than a short walk away. The warrior grips the hilt of his knife. The worn leather warms beneath his fingers. He thinks again of the girl, her small body swaying from the mesquite, and the word carved above her, Unforgiven. He feels the word burning inside him now, carved not into wood but into his very heart. Unforgiven. The fire inside him roars. He stops at a rise overlooking the camp. 4 men sit below, their fire crackling, their voices carrying faintly in the still night. Their laughter drifts up, coarse and hollow. He can make out the glint of rifles propped against rocks, the shine of steel at their belts. Outlaws. Killers. The kind who think the world belongs to them and all. Others are prey. The warrior studies them carefully. 2 drink from bottles, careless, their bodies loose with liquor. 1 chews on jerky, staring into the flames. The last sharpens a knife, the rasp of steel on stone grating against the night air. He feels his pulse steady, not quicken. This is the rhythm before the strike, the calm before storm. He has lived it before, on nights when his people still rode together. But tonight he rides alone. He draws a single arrow from his quiver, running his thumb along the shaft. Each arrow was made with care, fletched by his own hands. Each one is a part of him, as sharp and true as his memory. He sets it gently across his bow. Not yet drawn, but ready. The fire inside him whispers for blood, for swift justice. But he does not rush. Fire that burns too quickly turns to ash. His grandfather's voice echoes in his mind. Strike like lightning, but wait like the mountain dot. He lowers the bow and crouches, watching, waiting. His eyes move from one man to the next, memorizing their movements, their spacing, their weaknesses. He knows which will die first and which will live long enough to beg. The wind shifts, carrying the men's voices clearer now. That little Apache girl, one says, his words slurred with drink. Didn't think she'd kick that long. Laughter erupts, harsh and cruel. Another spits into the fire. Told you leave a mark, make the rest know their place. That word'll haunt 'em. The warrior's grip on the bow tightens until his knuckles ache. The fire inside him flares so hot he feels it in his throat, in his teeth. His vision sharpens, tunneling on the men who speak. They laugh again, and the canyon itself seems to recoil from the sound. The warrior closes his eyes briefly, steadying himself. He cannot lose control. Not yet. The fire must not consume him, it must guide him. When he opens his eyes again, they are cold, focused, unflinching. He slides back into the shadows, circling wide around the camp. Every step is silent, every breath measured. He is no longer just a man. He is the fire inside the dark, the storm waiting to break. The girl's face flashes in his mind one last time, her lifeless eyes, her swaying body, the word carved above her. His anger solidifies into iron resolve. Unforgiven. He whispers the word under his breath, tasting it, claiming it. By dawn, these men will know what it means. The campfire crackles below, its glow pushing against the darkness. 4 men laugh, drink, and spit into the flames, unaware of the eyes watching them from the rocks above. The Apache warrior lies flat against the earth, his body blending with shadow. The bow rests in his hands, the arrow nocked and steady. He listens not just to the man, but to the rhythm of the night. The fire pops. A bottle clinks. Boots scuff against gravel. Each sound becomes part of the pattern, each movement measured in his mind. He waits. The fire in his chest burns steady now, no longer wild. His breathing slows until it is nearly silent. He has become part of the desert stone's shadow. Wind. One of the men rises to relieve himself, staggering a few steps into the dark. His back is to the others. He mutters something under his breath, too low to carry. He is alone now. The warrior pulls the bowstring back. The sinew creaks faintly, taut with strength. His eye narrows, the arrow's point fixed on the man's spine. The release is smooth, silent. The arrow flies. It strikes clean between the shoulders. The man gasps, stiffens, and crumples forward without a sound. His body twitches once, then lies still in the dust. The warrior is already moving, sliding from his perch, melting into deeper shadow. At the fire, the others notice only after a few breaths. One squints into the dark. "Where's Boone run off to?" No answer. "Boone?" The man calls again, louder this time, uneasy. The warrior circles wide, his moccasins whispering against stone. His shadow shifts with the wind, invisible against the dark canyon wall. A second man stands, rifle in hand, peering toward the brush. He takes 2 steps from the fire. His head turns slowly, scanning the night. The knife flashes once. The warrior strikes from behind, his arm wrapping around the man's mouth, the blade sliding across his throat in a clean, practiced cut. Hot blood sprays, dark against the earth. The outlaw's body jerks, then slumps into silence. The warrior lowers him gently, leaving him sprawled in shadow. Unseen. At the fire, the remaining 2 notice the absence. Their laughter dies. One mutters, "Something ain't right." The other grips his rifle tighter. "Shut up. Keep watch." They shift closer to the fire, nerves prickling. The flames paint their faces, but beyond the circle of light, they see nothing. Only darkness. Only silence. The warrior crouches low, circling again. He is the silence. He is the shadow. A coyote yips in the distance, its call sharp and lonely. The men flinch at the sound. One spits into the dirt, trying to mask his fear. "Coyotes," he mutters, but his voice shakes. The warrior waits until the wind shifts, carrying the crackle of fire and the smell of sweat toward him. Then he moves. A stone shifts under his foot. The nearest outlaw's head snaps up. There, in the rocks. Rifle shots crack through the night, thunder rolling through the canyon. Sparks leap from the fire, smoke curling. But the bullets hit only stone. The warrior is already gone, sliding into deeper dark. The men curse, shouting into the night, their rifles swinging wildly. One fires again, desperate, the muzzle flash blinding for an instant. From the shadows, another arrow flies. It catches the man square in the chest. He stumbles backward, choking, eyes wide with shock. He collapses near the fire, his blood hissing as it hits the flames. Only one remains now. The last outlaw trembles, his rifle jerking from side to side. His breath comes fast, ragged. "Who's out there?" he shouts, voice cracking. "Come out, damn you." Silence answers. The fire pops. Sweat drips down the man's face. He swings around wildly, pointing the rifle into every shadow. His back is exposed. The warrior steps forward, silent as death, the knife glinting in his hand. By the time the outlaw senses him, it is too late. The knife drives home between his ribs. The man screams once, then falls quiet. The sound cuts short as the blade finds his heart. The campfire flickers, its light falling over 4 lifeless bodies. The warrior stands tall among them, his chest heaving once, then steadying. He wipes the blade clean on the last man's shirt. The fire inside him does not fade. It burns brighter, fed by blood. He looks at the bodies, his eyes cold. "Unforgiven," he whispers. The canyon swallows the word, carrying it away into the night. The fire burns low, casting weak light over the bodies sprawled in the dirt. Smoke drifts upward, twisting into the night like a spirit seeking escape. The canyon is silent now, no laughter, no cruel voices, only the hiss of dying flames. The warrior stands over the dead, his shadow long against the rocks. His breathing is calm, though the blood on his knife and bowstring has not yet dried. He does not tremble. He does not waver. This is not the first time he has killed, and it will not be the last. Still, he feels no triumph. Only silence, heavy and endless. He kneels beside the man who had spoken of the girl, the one who had laughed at her struggle. The outlaw's eyes are still open, staring blankly into the stars. The warrior closes them with 2 fingers. Not mercy, only finality. For a long moment, he studies the fire. The heat warms his face, but inside, the cold of loss lingers. 4 men are dead, yet the girl remains in the canyon, buried beneath her cairn of stones. She cannot return. His brother cannot return. His wife cannot return. His child will never draw a breath. The fire inside him is not quenched. It is only fed. He turns his gaze north. Beyond the desert lies more towns, more camps, more men like these men who see Apache lives as less than their own. Tonight he has cut 4 from the world, but how many remain? Too many for one man to count, but one man can still carve fear into the land. One man can still make the word unforgiven burn in the hearts of those who spill innocent blood. The warrior rises. He moves to the fire, pulling a burning branch free. The flame dances wildly in the dark as he carries it to the edge of the camp. He drops it into the brush, then another and another. Soon the flames spread, licking dry wood, climbing up the canyon walls. The fire will consume the bodies, erase the camp, and leave only ash. No cairns, no graves. The men who mocked the girl will vanish into smoke, forgotten by all but him. He steps back, watching the flames climb higher. Sparks rise into the sky, joining the stars. The heat presses against his face, but he does not flinch. He whispers in Apache, his voice low but firm, words carried to the spirits of the canyon. For the girl. For my brother. For my wife. For my child. For all of us. I vow, there will be no forgiveness. The words hang in the air, an oath carved not in wood or stone, but in blood and fire. He turns from the camp, leaving the flames behind. His shadow stretches before him, long and sharp in the moonlight. He moves north, his steps steady, each one carrying him further from the dead and closer to those who yet live dot above. The crows circle, black wings cutting against the stars. They follow him now as if bound to his path. He does not chase them away. Let them come. Let the world see them and know what walks in their wake. The desert wind rises, cool and fierce, carrying the smell of smoke and ash into the night. The warrior breathes it deep, letting it settle in his lungs, in his blood. It is no longer just vengeance. It is life. It is the path he will walk until his own spirit joins the others. Ahead, the land stretches endless, shadow and stone beneath the pale light of the moon. Somewhere out there are more boot prints, more fires, more carved words waiting to be answered. The warrior grips the knife at his belt. His eyes are hard, unflinching. The fire inside him does not fade. It grows dot, and the oath he carries now will not die until the earth itself forgets his people. Unforgiven.